Connecting now.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Astral interview. And today I have with me Sophia Macaranas. I'm pronouncing that right?
Correct. Hi, Shy Rose.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good
Thank you
morning.
for joining me. So, Tessa told me a little bit about you. You told me a little bit about you, but let's find out about you from you now.
Okay.
So let's start with, tell me about Sophia's life when she was younger.
Ooh, well, I grew up in Manila, Philippines.
Wow.
We were grew up as a Christian-based family,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
also the disciplined, old-fashioned way, kind of strict parents. So I was not spared by a rod. So it was a tough, a little bit challenging childhood, coping with that kind of feeling of
I know
always.
how that is. I had strict parents too.
Well, but it does affect your self-worth and your feeling of, am I doing enough? Am I always making mistake? Things like that. So that was
Yeah.
a struggle as a child as well. At the young age, I lost my brother, who was 4 years old from brain cancer. I was only 6 years
Oh,
old then. So that was also a
right.
challenge for us.
Sure, yes.
Mhm.
You were 6 and he was 4?
Yes. Yeah. So
Oh,
I it was a sad moment because I thought I was gonna come to the hospital to see my mom and my brother because I missed them both for a while. And then I didn't understand the conversation the adults were having. There were tears in the taxi. I was like, okay, what's going on? I don't know. Just happy. I want to go. I want to see them. And then as soon as we arrived, we were at the funeral home. So I was so traumatized. I wasn't
oh,
prepared for it.
no, of course.
There was a lot of
It's a
guilt
very
for
young
feeling happy to see him.
Yeah, it's a very young age to experience your first death almost. And it's someone like your brother, right? So, wow. That must have been very, very difficult.
It was hard that time, but we were so resilient when we were young too. It's just like, okay, I guess that's it. And then it was so close he died the day before Christmas. So it was nice to see all the family and relatives and have the reunion as well and bonding. So that was helpful with the coping.
I'm sure he's watching over you now, and I'm sure the journey that you're on is one he's guiding you on. Has to be that way.
Yes, he is. He's part of it very much so. Um, so that was we moved to Canada when I was still 18. So my whole family migrated to Toronto area. Um,
Okay.
and then that's where I also went to meet my first husband. And
Okay.
he waited till I finished my nursing school. So I was an RN. And we
Mm-hmm.
had three beautiful children. 16
Oh,
years
that's lovely.
of marriage. Um, but it was stressful and it was draining just because I felt like I was doing a lot of everything for the home. Little did I know that he was going through depression. 6 years before he passed away, he was going through the loss of his mom. And then 2 years after that, my daughter had a brain tumor at age 2, which was hard on all of us. And then then his dad passed away 2 years before that. But I was struggling in the marriage. I was also feeling, probably because being an empath, I was also feeling his depression unconsciously. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to end the marriage because I was so unhappy. So I
Right.
asked for a divorce, but he didn't
Yeah.
take it well. And he ended up killing
Right.
himself. Um,
Oh, my Lord.
it was 6 years ago. Um, the benefit of being an empath and having psychic support groups is you were able to communicate with him after death and have that peace.
Right.
and knowing that it wasn't my fault, to have that really reassurance that, yeah, it wasn't me, that it was just the way it is. It's the soul contract. It ended, and that was his choice. And it's time
Right.
to continue to move on. And
Right.
yeah.
So you, okay, so you have some very tragic things happening in your life, one after the other, it seems, with your child life, with your marital life, and you lost your daughter.
No, she's alive. She's alive.
She's alive. Good.
She's
I
in New
don't think I
Zealand,
could take another
doing well.
one of your family.
Yeah, she's
Now.
doing really well. She's 11 now, so that was 9 years ago, and she's on remission for 8 years. Um,
So,
yeah,
so good.
she's my angel.
And so, while you were coping with that in your marriage, um, how was how were you able to look after your daughter as well as cope with all these things? What
Well,
did you go through with your daughter?
yeah, so I was still working at my nursing job night shift when my daughter was diagnosed, so I had to give that up. I had to be almost at the hospital. We almost lived in the hospital for 6 months, majority of the time. Like she'll have breaks in between. My husband and my dad took care of our children. The other boys, I had two other boys, older ones, that had to stay home during that time. Um, One of the things I learned during that hospitalization, well, when the diagnosis, right, it was so traumatic. It was the worst thing to hear that your daughter could die, that diagnosed, and see her
Yeah,
suffer too, because she was having a lot of headache. We
right.
almost lost her the same day we brought her to the hospital. So timing was guided, divinely guided, because we would have, if it was any later, we could have lost her because she had a seizure right in front of us in emergency, and her eyes was flicking, and it was just too, it was getting too late. It was really close. So she was survived for a reason, and she was there to be saved. Um, it was a hard decision actually initially because I didn't really want to go through chemo. I really wanted to go natural and trust that she can be healed without outside sources. But I knew I couldn't take that risk at this time because I don't have the knowledge and the enough support to understand what are the other paths. And being 2 year old, I feel like she won't be able to do the other methods anyway.
Mhm.
So she went through chemo, and it's hard to when you're a mother and you're seeing your daughter suffer every day. You learn it's too much to think about the future. You don't want to think about tomorrow. You just like, I don't want to worry about tomorrow. You learn to be present. You say, I need to focus today, and I can think about tomorrow. I need to enjoy her today. I need to give her the joy she could today. Whether she lives tomorrow or not, I want her to be happy right now, at this moment.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it was,
Absolutely.
so it was like
Absolutely.
it was a big shift on me. It was a motivation to stay positive. It was a
Right.
motivation to let go of my own shit and just focus on her. It was not
Right.
easy, but being a 2 year old and being resilient, she really depended on my moods and my reactions on each and every activity at the hospital. So I
Right.
had to be cheerful, I had to give her some sort of explanation with every procedure. The lucky part is I'm being
Yeah.
a nurse, I was able to do that.
Right.
Um, One of the things that came out during this experience is I had to tell her a story. Um, because after removal of her cancer, she recovered and she went home. But then
Right.
we had to bring her back to the hospital to start her chemo. And 2 year old waking up with suddenly a big tube attached to her neck, like her chest. You could see her frazzled mind. It's like, why am I here? What's this thing sticking on me? Feeling, and I'm so confused. Help me, mommy. You know, that look of helplessness. And my
Yeah.
heart
Yeah.
just got softer, and I didn't know how to help her. But then I applied my Sunday school experience as a teacher and for church, and just being with the children, and I just created this story from, and I think it came from the divine because it was it was the right medicine for her at that time. So the story is called The Egg in Your Head, about a little bunny
The
with an egg in your head. and she had boo-boos and owies, and the doctor, and the mummies just took her to the hospital, quick, quick, quick. And it was just funny repeating words. And it's always ended up, so there will be no more egg in your head. And it was every page. And then when I kept saying that, so she would repeat it or continue helping me finish the sentence. And at the end of that story, you could see her giggling, happy. And then she went to
Right.
sleep. The next morning, she looked up on her IV and she pointed at it and she said, medicine. It was, I was flabbergasted. I didn't realize how much the 2-year-old can understand this full story and the concept, and how she was able to read the story to herself without feeling sorry for herself.
Right.
So from
Wow.
then on, I swore like I was going to be able to make her involve, like help her understand a little bit more every day with this procedure. Like an ECG, I would call it a spider web test, make it fun. When they're checking their pulse, I said, you're going to look at mountains. So it was like making it a play. And that really helped her through it. And the book, we've cleaned it up and we kind of add more things as procedures added to her treatments. And
Right.
then we created the story, and I put it a book out. I published online with her pictures on it, just to share the
Oh,
story, because I felt like it was a good tool to help other children going through the same thing. But
absolutely.
but I'm excited because I'm in a version now that I wanted to make it more universal and not have her pictures on it, but have her drawings on it, because she's 11 now and she loves art and she does good. She's really good with
Oh,
art. So that's my
do
next
you
project. And
have the book? Can you
the
show
original
us?
book, I have it online. I can send you the link as well. Yeah, it's on Bookimon, because it's one of the programs that I've able to find online that people can access for free and read it online for free. So that's why I chose
Right.
Bookimon then. So, but we're also thinking about doing leukemia and bone cancer version. So there's instead of egg in your head, there's some mud in your blood for leukemia,
Right.
and for bone cancer, there's a stone in your bone. So I'm excited for
Oh,
those books.
okay. Okay. Well done.
Thank you.
Now this story is going to help so many other people, right? So many other, anyone who has a need for that trauma in their life for whatever reason that it's meant to be, they'll also have help.
Yeah, it helps the parents help how to relate to their children during those difficult times. How do you relate to them? And it also helps the
Yes.
children have more oversight of what's going on, and knowing that it's not them, right? Because sometimes children gets misunderstood. They misunderstood the adults and see that it's them that people are upset about, not the disease or the illness.
Right. Right.
So for
So
mhm.
you said to me that spirituality comes into your life after a certain point. So I can easily see all these events leading up to spirituality coming into your life, of course. But let's talk about that point and what that means. You mentioned that you're an empath and that you have psychic um,
the biggest
ability.
mhm.
Go ahead.
The biggest turning point would have been
Yes.
6 years ago when my husband passed away of suicide. It was I was blaming myself, family blamed me. It was so hard, and I had to still raise my 3 children and work. And I was like, it was on my lowest point, and I didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Medical, psychological support wasn't enough. It wasn't doing anything for me.
Right.
And then I was searching for other kind of healing, and
Right.
lo and behold, at the natural store next door, they're offering Reiki healing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said, okay, let's check it out. Let's try it. I'm just open to do anything. And it's
Right.
funny enough, the healer was a retired nurse and psychic.
Okay.
And I had a session with her, and she went through all my chakras. She cleaned every chakra, and then she also channeled my children's energy through me, one by one, and helped them through it as well. I felt peace.
Wow.
I felt calm. I felt God's love back to me. I felt my healing to start. So I continued healing with her. And while I go to that clinic, also, I got introduced to Abraham Hicks on the law of attraction. So I start listening to her as well.
Right.
And
What was the name of your Reiki? What was the name of your Reiki practitioner?
I don't remember her name off my head right now.
Okay.
It was in Ontario, in Newmarket, where I
There's
live. And it was, yeah, Ambrosia Food Center. That's what the place was, I believe. And also coming home that day, I felt the healing from the children. I can feel the sense it that there was more peace. Yeah, this initial, it's not complete healing, but there was an initial calm and settlement
right.
with all of them. So that's when I started believing in Reiki. So I continued to my path, but then I was still in trauma, right? Because I was still distraught and there's so much going on. I
Of
make
course.
so I made a mistake, a big mistake in my life. Well, I shouldn't say mistake because it was a lesson and a path probably I needed to learn. I end up remarrying second time quickly right after his death. I moved the children and myself to the States from Ontario, and we lived in America. It was 5 months, but then because we have to go back home if we don't get married. So it was like a quick marriage, even though it didn't feel right, just so we don't have to move. The marriage ended up being violent, abusive, narcissistic relationship. So it only lasted 5 months.
Right.
Um, but when you're abused and you're a victim, you feel helpless, you feel trapped. So, but it was through spiritual guidance, I would say. It was a message, subliminal message that keeps coming to my mind. It was a clear steps on what I'm supposed to do, how to get out of it, and how do I go back to Canada. It was very clear, step by step solution. And I know it wasn't me because I was so traumatized. So it was the angels telling me what to do, and I felt it, and I knew it was the right way. And it didn't take long for us to just pack up, file a divorce, move to a hotel, and then move to Canada back, and then this time stay in the West Side and move to Vancouver and live in the hotel for a month. We did, and then I also rented a van for a while till we find a place that we could call home. And it was
So you
smooth.
said so you said the angels communicated with
Yeah.
you.
It was very
How
few
was
steps. So it was like an idea and a steps. It's like a thought, but I knew it was too clear and it's too easy. Like, really, that's it. It's all because I always feel like I need to do more. We're micro. We always micro plan
yeah,
and being a Capricorn and all that and stuff. I'm monkey mind. It's like, oh, I can do this. I felt gave you the boost that you needed and also clarity. Step one, step two, step three, so you
good.
don't have to think about anything. Just do it. And that's like I did.
Wow, excellent.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's awesome when that happens, and
It was
a
so,
lot of people go through so much turmoil in their mind before they can take a step like that, right?
I think so. And I think they're always talking to us. And sometimes we
Yeah.
just don't hear it because we're so much into our head and not into our heart.
hmm hmm Okay, so you're back in Vancouver now.
Yeah. Yay. We were so blessed
Okay.
because we didn't leave the country for more than a year. So what happened is we still have our health card, my driver's license, and my nursing license still valid. And it just needed to be
Okay.
transferred from province to province. It was a smooth
Right.
transition. It wasn't very
Right.
long till I was able to get a nursing management job and a retirement
hmm
home, which helped us support us in the last 3.5 years. We were here.
Wonderful.
Um, but during that period, I was learning more about spirituality.
Mhm.
Being in Vancouver around nature actually activates that growth. I find that it's actually, I feel more like I need to do more, like I need to clean up my head. And part of that path that I feel last year was I needed to, management job is very, it was a great blessing for my family, right? It supported us, supported me and my three kids.
Right.
But there was a point that
Yeah.
it felt overwhelming, stressful because it is a high
Right.
responsibility job. It was a 24/7 job. I was always on call. Any emergencies, I either go to the place or I always have to help them and do calls and scheduling and all that stuff. So I
Right.
didn't felt that peace. And I felt like the same way, I couldn't go back to my heart. I'm always here because I always have to think
Right.
and worrying, everybody safe at home and their seniors okay. Can you imagine if I was still
Right.
working during COVID time? I was like probably break down. So what happened is I made a decision to quit my job, but not go
Just
straight
like
to another job.
just like that, cold
Just
turkey.
like that. Oh, somewhat. Well, I had financial savings, so I felt like we were safe as the practical part that my kids are going to be fine. But
Right.
there was the intuition feeling that I shouldn't be going to another job, the same job, because it will be the same stress. It's like from a boyfriend to boyfriend without healing in between. You carry all that vibration and you carry all the issues, and the same problems will happen. So it was
Right.
scary. So I felt like, okay, I need to clean up my mind. I need to clarity. And also I need to be more in touch with my life path. When you're in that point of awakening, you want to do a job that's really related to your life purpose and nothing,
Right.
not just you want it to mean full
Just
to you, right? Nursing is a meaningful
right.
job, don't get me wrong. It helps a lot of people. But when it's stressful and you feel that it's affecting your health, then I knew it wasn't the right thing for me. So, and
Right.
not
And when we're younger, the decisions we make about our career are not really always our own, right? They can be influenced by our families, they can be influenced by our peers.
correct.
And so, you're not really following your own heart and your own destiny. You're sort of following the societal one or the parental one, or
Yeah. The norms, what's common.
until you realize yourself what it is that you want to do in your heart.
It was hard actually trying to find my soul path. I'm still in it. I'm still here at home trying to wait for the aha moment. How do I go to the next step? But what I learned in the last, I guess, 7 months is all my past trauma is actually my gifts. How I cope in each one is the gift that I can share with the world.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so that's where the life purpose comes from. And so I have like a couple of business ideas. I'm just tweaking all the steps, but I'm excited because I know that once that happens and that's pioneer is done, then I'll feel more at home and I'm feeling like I'm doing turning all the negativities into positivity. And that's what it is. It's how you alchemize your negative past into something positive in the future. So, so
Right.
for example, my daughter's experience, right? Aside from the
Hmm.
book that we're creating together, which is going to be beautiful, I want to be able to go to the hospital and be able to offer Reiki and healing to the pediatric oncology patients and
Right.
also where their parents who are going through the same trauma and help them
Right.
share my experience and how you can be positive in that environment. The
Right.
challenge is,
Very good.
yeah, but the challenge is Reiki is still not totally accepted in the medical field, in the healthcare system.
Be steps in there before
Yeah,
that happens. But just like the angels, gave you step one, step two, step three for
just need to
for
quiet my
things in your
mind and wait for them to tell me what's the next step.
and, and then when that happens, you won't be just yourself, you'll be helping everyone, right? Because it'll be such a big milestone in our societal reality.
It is. I'm so excited. And then the other part is being an RN, and I want to use my RN background to help my fellow nurses, right? Especially during this
Right,
period of chaos, and learning Reiki will help them with their own self-care, right?
yes,
And then not only that is they can use Reiki as part of their nursing practice, which is already happening in other countries. Reiki is
right.
accepted healthcare practice as part of nursing care that they do for their patients. For
So
people,
have you considered maybe doing a presentation to someone like Fraser Health or something that basically informs them of the different places in the world where this is happening and working,
yes,
and maybe a
sit down
presentation
and do
like that?
my research and my connection are working so I can reach the right persons. There is another company, a couple that's doing a business, and they're trying to actually um, advocate for all wellness treatments to be included in the extended healthcare system. So I'm really happy that they're doing that as well. So that's another project that I'm happy. Well, it's not my project, but I'm happy to know that people are doing those kind of things so to make it
Right,
more available to the medical field. Especially now that we've waken up this year and learning that there are other ways to do health than just medication and not just treating the symptom, but finding out the core, the cause. And we all believe and we all know, and science prove it, that stress leads to illness.
right.
And I feel that energy healing is one way to help with the stress release.
So you know who Greg Braden is, do you?
Sorry?
Greg Braden is?
I'm not sure. I'm getting it.
Greg Braden is another spiritual
Oh, okay.
person, and look him up. There's a video on YouTube called The 3-Minute Cancer Cure. And in that video, he demonstrates how in Malaysia, they use spiritual practices in the hospitals to heal. And just look that up. I'm getting the message to tell you about that.
Awesome. I better get this video so I can get back to that.
Look at maybe it'll open another door for you.
Yes, there's a lot of research and videos, also studies that's been done in the past as well. And America is also one of the countries that actually takes Reiki seriously in part of the healthcare system. So there's established out there. So just trying to figure out what would be the next step and having a team to do it. Yeah, because it's a big project.
Right.
So that's next.
I keep hearing the Phoenix Circle.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is the Phoenix
So
Circle?
that's the name I called my business as the Phoenix Circle. The reason I use
Okay.
the Phoenix, it symbolizes my life of rising up through my ashes, of how, every time I fall, I rise up. And that includes
Right.
childhood to now. I actually love it so much that I put a big tattoo on my back of a phoenix.
Right.
um, so the Phoenix Circle involves anything, any healing modalities. I resonate with it as well with the Holy Fire from Saint Germain, the Purple Flame. So, and also the Holy Fire Reiki. So it's all about fire of healing. That's why Phoenix really resonated with me.
Wow. Well, that's a good symbol. Because of course the phoenix is transformation symbol as well, right?
Exactly.
And you've had many transformations in your life already, and
It's going.
hopefully now there's no more transformations for you, but you will help others transform.
That's true. But I think it's we cannot be afraid for transformation. I feel like every shadow we face makes us
True.
shine brighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay. So tell me about how you got involved with the 888.
oh, so Tessa has been my mentor. I met her for one of the meditation, like a full moon meditation, Akashic record, probably about 3, 4 years ago, maybe longer, maybe 5. And I followed her. So every time she has new teachings, I come and get her because she's such a positive energy, full of light. And she trained me with Atlantis Archangel attunements, Akashic records, healing and reading.
Right.
And funny enough, I didn't sign up for the 888 Lionsgate. My friends did. They said, Sophia, we're signing you up. You're coming to that show. I said, what's that? I was like, what? What's this? So
Right.
basically, it's an opportunity for me to share my gifts and to reach out during this traumatic period of time. Um, it's
Right.
a free entrance for everybody, so that was so nice of them to do that. And basically, it's also low pricings for the providers that are giving services because we want to help. I'm actually going to
Yeah.
discount for all the frontline workers. I'll give them this discount prices, but if it's hardship and they want some healing, I'm so giving. I feel like there is still balance in the universe, even if my prices are not high, because I feel the love comes back.
Yeah. I think we're kind of moving into a world where people won't look at money the same way anymore.
Especially when they don't accept
You
cash, right?
know, pardon me?
No, they're not accepting cash anymore. You have to use your debit card, or it's all coded.
That's right. You have to use your
There's
debit
no more
card.
visual amount of
So
how much you have.
it's already changing, right? It's a different world, and who knows where it's going to go, but definitely we're all going to be adjusting to a different reality, right?
Yes.
And so, well, what do you have to tell the people who are considering, well, most people still won't know about the 888 event. So what can you tell in this interview that would entice somebody to be there?
Ooh, we've been through so much this year. It's been a crazy roller coaster, not just for one individual, but for the whole world. And it's shaking your world a lot just being at home. There's so much changes internally that's happening to each of us. Being locked down or being afraid of the disease or being upset that we have to be locked down or have to wear masks. There is that resistant energy to everybody. And oh, there is help, right? So 888 Lionsgate event is here because we want to help with giving you relief, stress release, just unblock those concerns or stresses and traumas that you're going through during this period. Whether it's crystal healing or Reiki healing or Akashic records or any intuitive reading, just the guidance, because we're going through that trauma. There's relationships that's been affected. There's also realizations, realizing that, oh, this is not the right job for me. Oh, this is not the right marriage for me. I need to move on. So there's a lot of letting go, and that's happening to everyone. It's the collective,
Right.
and you have to accept that it is changing, and the world is changing, and you need to help yourself. This is the period of learning self-love. This is the period of
Right.
learning I need to take care of myself. My cup needs to be full, or else I cannot fill the cups of my family. I cannot fill the cups of my children or my partner. So this is
Right.
the time to give yourself that love, give that yourself that healing that you need. Take us a chance if you grew up not understanding that there is other ways to love yourself with the help of others. open your heart. There's a lot of loving people. The Vancouver is a loving community, and we're not here for your money. We're here to help you. So that's my speech.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophia. Well, I've exhausted my questions for you. Is there something you want to share with everyone?
Well, another side of me that's not been discussed is my sexuality. So,
Okay.
what I grew up in the past, I guess 6 years is, since I was divorced and I've been through relationships. And I also been through a lot of experiences on sexuality. And growing up in a Catholic Christian environment, sex has been a taboo and demonized. And that's part of the self-love is people are ashamed and of their body. They're ashamed to be beautiful or dress sexy or just to wear makeup, even put jewelry on. So that's where I'm also trying to empower women to go back to their self-love, and don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't be afraid that your uniqueness is taboo. It's just who you are. You have to love your dark and your light side, because that's why you're on earth, is to experience both light, and to just embrace who you are and just be out there and be happy.
Right. Right.
I tried to write a book,
Absolutely.
but I don't want to claim it yet because it's not. It's still in the process on sexual. So I'm excited.
Well, we can always do another interview when you're ready. So look forward to talking to you more and more. And good luck at the 888 event.
Thank you for your.
And hopefully we will talk to you again soon, Sophia. Thank you for allowing us to interview you today.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for this lovely talk. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sophia.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.
Bye.